And today, Canada, is very pleased to be able to announce its contribution to that COVID response framework with a contribution of $3.5 million over 5 years. There is actually a long legacy of cooperation between Canada and the 10 ASEAN member states on this issue.
Halo pemirsa, selamat datang di acara 30 Menit Antara. Hari ini saya kedatangan tamu dari Kedutaan Besar Kanada untuk ASEAN bersama Duta Besar Kanada untuk ASEAN, Madam Ambassador Deidre Kelly. Welcome, Madam Ambassador. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure to be here with you today.
All right, maybe we can start by asking about maybe the most prominent issue in our world today, which is the COVID-19 pandemic. I think it's appropriate to start by asking you, how does Canada cope with the COVID-19 pandemic so far?
Sure, absolutely. That is a most relevant and timely question. COVID-19 is a very serious global health security threat with far-reaching impacts across all aspects of society. And the situation, as we know, is evolving daily. The risk varies between communities, but given the number of cases in Canada, we do consider the risk to be high. And the health, safety, and security of Canadians is our government's top priority back in Canada, as well as the support that the government of Canada provides internationally. We see that as helping not only protect global health, but the health of Canadians as well.
How do you see the efforts that are being done by governments, especially in ASEAN countries, to deal with the COVID-19 pandemic?
It's very interesting. Each ASEAN country has made efforts to manage the COVID-19 pandemic that is affecting its populations. And I think that we've seen some great work in terms of coordinating the response and demonstrating, the value of working together on these situations. In terms of the regional approaches that have been put in place, there's something called the ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework that looks at not only health aspects, but also the economic aspects of responding to the pandemic. And today, Canada, is very pleased to be able to announce its contribution to that COVID response framework with a contribution of $3.5 million over 5 years. And that is going to provide valuable support to the 10 ASEAN member states in order to procure, for example, necessary medical supplies and equipment such as test kits and diagnostic tools, personal protective equipment such as gloves and masks and shields, but also therapeutic drugs and vaccines. And it's also going to support coordination in research and development related to COVID-19, such as virology, immunology, and other important research in order to prevent the spread, the further spread of this pandemic, but also in responding to future pandemics. I think across the board, increasing capacity of health professionals and other first-line responders is a key priority. And so with this comprehensive effort by the ASEAN member states, we believe that it is having progress, and we're very pleased to be able to contribute to such an important regional initiative on this pressing issue.
How would the cooperation go to distribute the funds between the ASEAN countries? Is it between institutions in Canada and the ASEAN countries, government to government? How do you have, can you paint a picture of how the cooperation is going to go?
Sure. So for the Canadian contribution to the ASEAN COVID Response Fund, it will be a contribution directly to ASEAN, to the ASEAN Secretariat. And then within the ASEAN Secretariat, it has a coordination mechanism to respond to priorities that have been identified. And this ensures that the greatest needs are met. The most vulnerable populations amongst the ASEAN member states are receiving that care on a priority basis. So, for example, if we were to look at vaccine acquisition, the funds could certainly be used towards vaccine acquisition, and there would be a mechanism within the ASEAN Secretariat to obtain, to procure those vaccines, and then distribute them directly to the ASEAN member states from the supplier.
Perhaps there are some best practices or inputs from experiences that Canada has had that you can share with us here in South Asia?
There is actually a long legacy of cooperation between Canada and the 10 ASEAN member states on this issue. There is a long-standing project that Canada has been implementing with ASEAN on biosafety and biosecurity. And the point of that project was to develop a regional capacity for the 10 ASEAN member states to survey, detect, and respond to pandemics, which has been most valuable in terms of the response efforts for this particular pandemic, COVID-19. And it's used some very innovative methods in terms of the tools that it has in its tool basket. I've also been working with ASEAN member states for over a decade now to develop capacity. So make sure that the professionals working in these laboratories are doing so under the safest possible conditions in accordance with international standards for handling dangerous pathogens, and as well as sharing expertise with in the region, so that there's a comparable level of expertise and knowledge across the region. So that laboratory capacity obviously has been a very essential part of the response to COVID-19. That would be another important best practice that Canada and ASEAN member states have developed. And then, of course, I think the early identification that requirements for personal protective equipment. So early on in the pandemic, Canada provide additional stockpiles of personal protective equipment to ensure that countries in the region were not impacted by supply chain issues. And supply chain issues is another important area where we have been working and collaborating to make sure that countries in the regions continue to be able to provide their important supplies and materials to the world economic integrated trading system, but also that supplies and materials from other parts of the world can reach the region. So making sure that supply chains stay intact during this period. And I think, another important best practice or area of collaboration to highlight would be COVAX. And COVAX is a vaccine sharing platform, which highlights the value of strong partnerships and strong multilateral institutions. And our Prime Minister Trudeau, in partnership with his counterpart from the United Nations, the UN Secretary General, convened a special high-level meeting to identify solutions to the economic crisis and the urgency that has been precipitated by the pandemic. And COVAX is an area where Canada is not only collaborating with the ASEAN member states, but with Indonesia in particular in terms of very strong roles. So our Minister of International Cooperation co-chaired the COVAX Advanced Market Commitment Engagement Group with Indonesia's foreign minister, Minister Retno Marsudi, to ensure that there was safe and equitable access to vaccines for all 92 COVAX eligible countries. And of course, Indonesia is one of the countries that is eligible for COVAX. And we've seen in recent weeks deliveries of vaccines that have been made possible from the COVAX facility. So COVAX absolutely is an example of a best practice and an important tool to ensure that there is rapid, but also fair and equitable access to safe, effective, and high quality vaccines in all countries across the globe.